Hello and welcome to the first class of the course. The name of this class is Speed Reading the $1,000,000 Skill, which I do believe it is. And in this session, what we're going to do is see a little bit of what speed reading looks like, what is it, what all the other courses are like, so that you get a sense of how it works, how did it come about, not so much focusing on its history, but really the relevance. What is it in there that you can use, some basic ideas of speed reading, and so that you get a very good sense of what it is and how it works. Not going too much technical yet today, but just to get a feel for it and to try it out, to have a taste of it, and have also a general view about it. Yeah, so I hope you're in the right thing here, and let's see more exactly what we're going to look at. So firstly, we're going to look at a little bit of my own story. How did I come to this, to teaching this, to reading many books? Every other course in a couple of minutes, just really to sum it up so that you get an understanding of how it works. I've done quite a few courses just to kind of know, and I continue to look at some new ones so I can describe here for you how they all look, how they work, and what's the key principles behind them. What are the key principles? The vision, so just getting clear with why you want it and finding out the vision so that we can align the things more easily, and then when we have the why, we can look at what and we can do and how to make it happen. Pronouncing versus visual reading, this is more on the technical aspect here. What's the old way of reading versus the new way of reading? How are these two different? And just to get a better understanding of what is speed reading. 80-20 rule, which is simply how to find the most important information and focus on that. What that is. Learning and behavior change is how these two are associated. Is learning behavior change? Is it just memorizing? Look at that. And finally, the state in which we want to be in when learning, which is also super key. And we're going to see why. But as you see, we're going to get a very basic understanding of speed reading, a very nice ground, a very solid foundation with which we can later work and then learn techniques and do all this stuff. But if we don't have this, then it's kind of hard to move on any further. So just stick with it here and enjoy it, just to get an idea of what speed reading is. Try it out for yourself, doing this with me. So a little bit of my own story. I actually got even warmed up talking about this, so it's a good sign. When I met with my mentor, this is where my speed reading journey has started. And before that, I had a summer where I listened to 90 audiobooks. Before that, I would hate reading. Then I just happened to work in a farm. That was several years ago, and I was a student. And working in this farm, I just like, I might as well just try these audiobooks. I got into self-development a lot, listening to all the nonfiction books, starting with The Secret and all this kind of stuff, spiritual books, etc. And during this whole summer, I went through about 90 books. I still didn't like reading, but I loved audiobooks then. And this may be where you're at as well. It's kind of like a point where you know that there is speed reading, and then you're like, now I have to learn this because I know it exists. Otherwise, I'm just wasting my time. This feeling many people have. And at that point, I actually read something about speed reading. I think it was a Tim Ferriss article on speed reading and tried it out. And it was nice. It was interesting, but didn't really convince me to go further with it. And then only when I went to my mentor's seminar here, Algerda Scaral is one of the top speakers here in my country, Lithuania, that works with rapid learning, teaches people language very fast, etc. So he led me into learning this, and I took a seminar for about 3 days, learning the secrets of rapid learning and memory and speed reading. And after this, I went through 5 to 9 books per day for the next 5 days, which was quite intense and not necessary for you to do that. I'm not advocating to read 8 books all day and not do anything, but it was definitely a stage where I learned speed reading very fast. So this is the beginning, really, with where I started reading. Then really I went through quite a few books, mainly self-development books. I would go to the library. I couldn't afford books back then. Just go to the library and say, hey, can I just get 10 books? So I just grabbed 10 books. Then 3 days later I come back, oh, thank you very much. And I'm like, what the hell is up with this guy? But I was actually going through them at this pace and putting them into mind maps, really having a nice memory of them, and even kind of being a motivational speaker with my little brother, kind of telling him you can't do anything, etc., etc. And it was all here. It was all still, it was all still in the mind. But later, of course, we need to internalize and really learn these things, not only know them in our minds. So it comes with time. And then the next stage was about 1.5 years ago or 2 years ago when I started teaching and started doing workshops, started doing seminars, and teaching online. And this was most of my teaching. Now I'm only putting this to a video course. I'm very happy about that. Um, and it was really interesting. Met a lot of different people, worked with people who work 5 to 9, yeah, not 9 to 5, but 5 to 9. Really entrepreneurs who have 6 businesses, 2 kids and a wife, and really going hard with that. Worked with IT students, worked with Tantra yoga teachers in Thailand. It's very different kinds of people who actually need this, because when you do have the skill, you can read 1 book a day, which is pretty cool in itself, and then what you can do with that is even more fun. So this is a little bit of my own story, and let's see. The next thing here is every other course in a couple of minutes. So there's a ton of courses, and people look at different kinds of speed reading videos that either just come to me from other courses, or this is maybe something new to them, or maybe they've tried a lot of things and they tell me, look, so how does this work? This guy says he can read a book in 10 minutes. What's up with that? Is that real? Can I learn this? So here what I will do is basically summarize what's possible. And if you want to learn more about this, just check out my YouTube channel. There's a vid called YouTube channel with my name here. And the name of the video is Speed Reading Myths Shattered. So I talk what's actually possible, what is attainable, and of course with a lot of practice, a lot of things are possible. So, but these are really the essentials. What I will show you now is what top speed readers that I've taken the courses of online and read their books, and this is really what they teach, summarized in a couple of minutes. So let's get on to it. And the first thing that all of the courses really focus on is reducing subvocalization. What does this word mean? Well, it's a fancy term which just simply means that we have to stop saying the words aloud in our head when we are reading them. So just try and say in your mind, hello, just for 5 seconds or 10 seconds. Just say it in your mind. Right? So it's maybe a bit weird, but when you read, this is what happens. We say the word aloud in our head. And this slows us down, because when we speak, we can go only a certain point. Maybe we can speak 200 words per minute, 250 words per minute, not more. So if we want to amp up our speed and go faster, we need to transcend this subvocalization, or saying the words aloud in our head. This is what a lot of the courses are really focused on, to see the images instead of seeing word by word the text. And we're going to go for that a little bit later as well. Now, increasing saccade size, what is that? Simply when, let's just say there's 10 words in a line. What we can do is not only read it word by word, but learn how to expand our peripheral vision and catch 2 words at a time, and grasp 2 words at a time when we read. Once we grasp the 2 words at a time, it's pretty brilliant, because we already double the speed, just like that. So doubling the saccade size can help us double our speed. So these are the basic things that you have in most of the courses. And then there are some additional things that I'm going to add here. And this is also something I focus on at the moment and put a lot of value on, actually. And that some of the other courses also are incorporating, which I'm very happy about. So first one is information handling. And this is super key, because I would work a lot with people who are into nonfiction, who read books like 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel, The 4-Hour Work Week. There's plenty of them. Which one's the name? And the people who really are into self-development books, into self-improvement work, this is where information handling comes into help. Because if you have a novel, well, most of the time you're just going to read it top to bottom. There are still some techniques to use to be much faster at it, but we don't particularly focus with information handling on novels. This is mainly for nonfiction books, for books that you can focus on and be selective about. Nonfiction is the most widely read genre, so helps to learn how to actually have this 300-page book and look at it and find what's the most important for you without missing anything important, and extract it out of the book and remember it, and then hopefully act on it, do some cool stuff with that. So information handling. And another key area that I have found is digital reading and softwares to learn speed reading. Now there's plenty of them, and there's some really good ones, even some free ones that I recommend further in this course when we go for learning about digital reading, as well as how to read Kindle books, how to read blogs, how to read PDFs. Even a lot of people ask me that, can I read PDFs? Well, yes, and there are some tools to actually make it much faster as well. So that's what we're going to cover in the following sessions too. All of this is really what speed reading comes down to. Maybe I took a little more than a couple of minutes, but now you know. And now we're going to go a little more into it, a little bit more into speed reading, what it is, how it works, different methods. Not so much in this methods and precise things to do, because that takes quite a bit of time. That's why this course has several sessions, but this is just the core foundation. So let's look at what we have more. So the why. It's very important before we even crack into speed reading. Why do you need that? A lot of the time we feel like, oh, I need this huge car, this huge house, which may be super amazing, and to enjoy that, why not? If we're alive, why not play with that? But if there's a sense of lack, like I'm not complete without it, then that's not true, that's not real. So just asking this question, why, can help us examine, do I actually need this? Does this correspond to my deepest desire, or is it just something superficial? And I really want to invite you to go with the trail of why, follow the trail of whys, and clarify with yourself. But what we're going to do here, because if I ask you, why do you want to learn how to speed read? Or you probably have some reasons. But if I tell you, what's your vision 1 year from now? Well, you may be not so sure. And most people aren't, unless we do specific exercises, specific things to clear this out. And this is what I like to guide you through here. Also, one thing that I love is recommending books, and a book on this that's brilliant is Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor E. Frankl, who was a guy who was banished to concentration camp, and he experienced many rough things there, and he'd seen that some people actually managed to survive through all the hardship. What he noticed, and he created a teaching called logotherapy, a science called logotherapy, which basically states that if there's a big enough why, the question how is secondary. So if you like, you can write down the book. Really amazing book, one of those top reads, Man's Search for Meaning. And some of the other things you find interesting, you're always going to have this video to go through, but if you want to make some notes to remember better, please do. So if there's a big enough why, the question how is secondary. If we really know why we want something, we're going to figure out a way to do it. If we have a really strong pull to get something, we won't kind of try to cough the motivation out, or to muster motivation. That's a better way of saying it. A really lovely definition of motivation that I read about a while ago was that motivation is very simple. It's simply working on the projects you love the most with the people that you love working with. So you're just not doing some kind of trick to get yourself motivated. In a way, it's simply finding what drives you. And even the books that drive you, read those. Even the parts of the books that drive you, read that. So if there's a big enough why, the question how is secondary. So let's find out your why, your vision, and if you just let me guide you through it for a couple of minutes, we're going to do a quick exercise. So I hope you're feeling good. Hope you're feeling relaxed. For this exercise, we're going to do a few minutes of simply closing your eyes, so you can join me with that. I'm going to do that with you together, guide you through it. So just close your eyes. And if you feel any resistance towards doing this exercise, if your thoughts are somewhere else, just let that be. Don't resist that. Let everything be. Let the thoughts come if they come. Let them go. Don't hold on to anything just for a little while. And like this, simply focus on your breathing, breathing deeply, comfortably, allowing the whole of your body to relax. Relaxation is a conscious process, tension is an unconscious process. So simply by bringing your awareness, bringing your attention to your body, it already relaxes. So you can relax your forehead, your jaw, let it drop. Relax your neck as you're breathing comfortably. Relax your chest, your shoulders, let them drop. Let your chest relax, back, belly, then your waist and all of your legs down to your toes. And basically let this wave of relaxation naturally open the body up, open the breathing up without any effort. Just putting your attention on the body instead of the thoughts already can help you relax. This is a nice thing to do every day for a while. For now, simply breathing. What I'm going to ask you to do is visualize and see in front of yourself a hot air balloon. So even with your eyes closed, just see in front of yourself a hot air balloon. Hop into it and let it start rising. As it's rising, on the left of the balloon, you can see all of your past ever since you were a kid, since you were born here in this body, all the way up till now when you were a little kid, growing up, a teenager, all those years, all the way up till the present moment. And if you look to the right, it's still new future that's to be made. And now just allow it to move to the future. Allow it to move 1 year from now. And when it's 1 year from now, it can start going down. So we're going to go and see what is your ideal future circumstances 1 year from now. Great. So when you go down, hop out of the balloon, fully present with it, immersed in it as if in a movie, and see what's around you. What are the perfect circumstances? Let them rise. Without any judgment of possible or impossible. Just see what is there. Notice what kind of people are around you. What kind of people that you want to be with. What kind of energy they have. How do they feel? What are your relationships with the people you currently have in your life? What's your relationship like? Ideally, how does the relationship with the people look in your life? What kind of relationships? Notice that. Notice how much money you're making. Maybe what kind of house you live in. That's a factor. Circumstances in which you are in. How much freedom do you have financially and otherwise? Maybe how much you're traveling and that sort of thing. Observe all of that. Notice if there's anything else that's important. How do you feel? How happy you feel about all of this? And maybe besides even all this, how much does happiness naturally generate within your own being? Okay. Notice how this makes you feel. All of that. How content, peaceful, happy you are. Let all of that come naturally. All that excitement, let it come. The energy that comes with seeing this, let it come. It's here. You can see it, you can do it. You can have it. So now, simply, slowly, anything else that there is around you that's important, you can head towards the balloon. Hop into the balloon, rise up, and go all the way back into the present. Let the balloon drop into the present. Hop out of it. So you can slowly open your eyes. And what's 7 times 9? 63. Just told you this to kind of snap you out of this trance a little bit. And what I'd like to ask you to do now is just take 1 minute or however much time you like to write down what you have seen. So just stop the video now and do it. And once you're done with that, let's continue to see what else we have here. It's very important. A lot of the time people say, "Yeah, I just want the speed reading techniques. Let's continue." But it's very important to actually clarify with yourself why is it that you're doing something. Then you won't be asking me how to be motivated. You know why. And then you will read the books about this, about what you want. You will read even only the parts of the books that can help you get this, that can help you manifest this reality. Great. So next thing is reading versus pronouncing. So speed reading it is. And pronouncing is going from symbols to auditory sound. Or the old way of reading is going from symbols to auditory sound. So we would read like pronouncing is going from symbols to like this, slow and boring. Now reading or visual reading is going from symbols to a movie in your head. Maybe you have had these experiences. You probably have noticed that when you read, you vocalize, you say the words in your head. And here, visual reading is whenever you see the text, say, I'm catching several words. Reading is going, symbols to movie in your head. So reading, symbols to movie in your head. Makes sense, and you just kind of get this through practice. There are several drills we do just so you get a sense of it and understanding. Let me show you here on this text. So just grab a book. If you need to stop the program, just do it now. Go grab a video. Stop the video, go grab a book. And just open it anywhere. Once we do, we're going to see. So first thing with speed reading, you want to be using your finger. So reading like this, using your finger. Just practice with me here, left to right. And you will notice, okay, I'm saying the words loud in my head. That's fine. We can never eliminate it. That's what the subjects. There's been many tests done with this with speed reading, and that's what it's shown. We can never eliminate subvocalization. If you have if you read and have a word like subvocalization pop up, you're not gonna just say, "Oh, of course." You're gonna be like, "Oh, subvocalization, what?" So we naturally subvocalize the more difficult words, but the more we read and the better we are. The more we are familiar with the words that come up, the less we can subvocalize. And also, the more we practice, the less we subvocalize. So the key for this is to simply practice. You can practice going faster, practice going slower. You can even try out something more complicated, and this is something that comes with some practice. So instead of reading 1 line at a time and going back to the next, you can even try and read 2 lines at a time, like this. And don't focus on the comprehension too much. Don't freak out about it. Just try it out for fun. This is what you can also learn, and this is doable for sure. 2 lines at a time. Simply allow yourself to see all the text as you go. Great. And the more you are relaxed, the more you are at ease, the easier it is to do that. So don't try, just see if you can pick up anything as you're going through the 2 lines at a time. Don't focus so much on the comprehension. Focus more on basically getting your brain out of its comfort zone, just playing around with that. Then there are some even more interesting ways that we're going to look at later to read. We can read 3 lines at a time in this way, or many other ones. But this is just something to get a sense of it. Whenever you read left to right. You can even do a drill, 10, 15 minutes. There are different kinds of drills that we're going to look at in the next sessions as well. But something basic, if you just want something now, is you can practice for 10 minutes just reading faster than you're used to. Reading a bit faster than you're used to. And then once you want to go back to your normal speed, so that you have comprehension when you really want to read, when you finish with the drill, a good guideline, you will already have a bit of a faster speed, first of all, because you've done the drill, so you already kind of amplified your speed, you warmed up in a way. And then furthermore, what you actually do is you can, whenever you read, you can go to a speed at which you have less than full comprehension. So you increase your speed. Then you're like, okay, I'm not really comprehending it fully. What you do at this point is you can slow down, and you slow down by approximately 10%. So just take random speed, 400 words per minute you are reading at. Let's just say your normal speed is 300. Then you amp it up to 400 words per minute. And then you're like, okay, I'm not getting a lot here. I need to slow down. What you do then is you slow down to about 360 words per minute. You slow down 10%, and you're already reading faster than your previous 300 words a minute, but you're comprehending still very well, and you're reading faster just naturally, but not so fast that you don't get enough comprehension. So that's the trick. So some presuppositions of speed reading, and this is really my favorite part, because now I've kind of explained to you, okay, this is what speed reading is like. This is how it looks like from, just flying above the basically river of speed reading and looking at everything it is, and we're seeing it from a very big picture point of view. So what are some presuppositions of speed reading? What does speed reading imply, to put it in other words? Maybe you're not a native English speaker, so you're like, presuppositions, what? But basically when we know these, we can go deeper into it. When we know what speed reading implies, when we know what it is about, we can move on further to get into the subtleties of it. So let's see what they are. And also knowing this already gives you a good understanding. This is what speed reading is, and we can move on. So books are stimulus for ideas. That's the first one. A lot of the time we think books are a source of information from school, from just conditioning that we have considering learning. We think books are just a source of information. We need to memorize them to get them. That's why I'm not a big fan of schools, and I really would dislike school, especially when I learned about the self-development movement. I would be like, oh, this is such a waste of time. And it's not for all the people, not always, not fully, but that's how I felt at the moment. And books are a stimulus for ideas. It's a completely different approach than most education that there is, which says books are something you just need to memorize to kind of learn in your head. What speed reading says, and what I also encourage you to look at books like, is that books are stimulus for ideas. I like to give this, there's this book, it's called Fuck It. Let's not be afraid of the words, just a speed reading program. Fuck It, the ultimate spiritual way. And what this book is about basically is that, whatever happens, you just say, fuck it. You broke up with someone, fuck it. You're in love with someone and they hate you, fuck it. You continue. You have thoughts that make you feel not good, fuck it, and then you continue and release immediately like this. And even just looking at the name of the book, I recommend the book to check it out if you want. Just looking at the name of the book can already give you an idea. Oh, just say fuck it, and that is the ultimate spiritual way. Only the name of the book can give you this idea. So you may set it aside and then just go on for the rest of your life saying, yeah, fuck it, and then just get on with life and do cool stuff. So this is how a book can be a stimulus for new ideas. Okay? Now, there can be a book, let's just say, that's called Eat Whole Foods. And you may say, good idea, eat whole foods. Just set the book aside and go do it for the rest of your life, or for the biggest part of our life. And yet, still, it's nice to just open it and get kind of motivated, get a kick in the ass to actually do eat whole foods, be explained how this works, and be shown how to cook whole foods, and be shown try this, try that. This is why you should do this. This is why you should do that. This is what it is about. This is what it is. And this is why we actually want to read the books. But focus on the ideas. Don't focus on the, don't say it's some holy source of information that you need to get every single bit of. Forget that. It's the best. Now, just allow yourself. Thomas, the speed reading coach, allows you to do that and allow this for yourself as well. So books are stimulus for ideas. First presupposition. Number 2 is learning equals behavior change. So I had this picture here, added this picture just to kind of illustrate it. Learning is behavior change. What's the real value of reading the whole food book if you continue going to McDonald's every day and doing the old habits? And you may know this already. Maybe you follow some people who actually say read lots of books and then apply the stuff, apply the things that's in the books. What's the value of speaking? Oh, I'm going to New York. I'm going to New York, and not going to New York. Doesn't make any sense. Reading about how to go to New York doesn't make sense. And at some point, you will notice that some of the books will be redundant to you. It's like when you're eating cereal, you want to eat cereal, and then someone comes up to you and says, you can eat the cereal. You really can. And you're like, yeah, I know. I was just about to do that. And they're like, you really can. Go ahead and eat the cereal. I trust that you can. You're like, fuck off, right? And sometimes we feel like this with the books. And sometimes, on the other hand, we do need this motivation. We do need this boost and someone to tell us we can do something. So learning equals behavior change. And some quotes on this is Eben Pagan, a brilliant marketer. If you're into marketing, check him out. He said, if your behavior hasn't changed, you haven't really learned anything. So what have you learned if you haven't learned how to, what food to eat? If you haven't learned really about, if you haven't changed anything, what have you learned? This makes very good sense, so simply let this to sink in. And a decision is measured by taking action, by taking massive action. Until you've taken action, you haven't decided yet. Tony Robbins said this. Great speaker and author. A decision is measured by taking action. So if we aren't really doing it, why even just speak about it? Why even focus on reading about it? All the books in there without really doing it. A lot of people do this with speed reading, just read everything and don't do it. Then they come to me, so how do I actually do this? Then we work one-on-one and I teach them how, and a lot of it is just them doing it with me. Because when you follow through with a program and someone says, okay, now you just do it. It's simple. Don't overthink. Just do it now. It's like, okay, cool. And let's take action. Some of us, we're more action oriented, more entrepreneurial like. For me, for instance, I just love information and to read everything and kind of, mental masturbate, you can say, in a way, about it. But I say just take action, work with it, and do stuff. And also read about it. It's a brilliant, beautiful combination. So the 3 levels of learning is also something I learned from Eben Pagan, where he says that there's insight, action, and transformation in anything we learn. Now, if you're learning your IT book just for a test, maybe it's not like this. But if you're learning IT, how to do IT, how to program, it is like this. And what it is the level 1 would be insight. So let's take me and you here learning speed reading. When you are learning speed reading, maybe I've given you some insights, hopefully a couple. And one insight, maybe it's new to you, that whenever you read, focus on what's the most important. Focus on the golden nuggets, right? So focus on what's really key for you in the book. You're like, this does make sense. And then you continue, you're like, well, I was told since school that I need to read every single thing, and you don't do it. So it only stays here, but it doesn't go into actions. And if you don't allow yourself to do it, it's worthless. So an insight is really worthless if we're not putting this into practice. And then action can be priceless if we do it. So transform these insights into action and then let them become a transformation. Let them become a change in how you see the world, and a change in what you do, a change of a habit, a change in a change in any skill that you want to learn. And even here, once again, apply this. I will give you some some small challenges at the end of each class, so you can play around with that. And that's all that it is. Just play around with it, and you will get it. That's for sure. And then the transformation part is simply unconscious competence, something that's super clear to us. And then it's, of course I'm gonna read one book a day. Look at my testimonials, other people who have successfully learned speed reading. Of course I'm gonna read one book a day. Why not? I've done this for the last month. Of course I'm gonna do it next day, and of course I'm gonna do it in this way because this works. So it becomes natural after a while. Simply proceed with it if that's something you really, really want to know. If not, fuck it, right? The 80-20 rule. So the 20% of the information gives us 80% of the value. That's how we can phrase it. Normally, it's called also the Pareto's law. It says that 20% of the effort brings 80% of the results. So 20% of the effort that we're going to put into reading the book is going to bring us 80% of the results. We're going to get most out of this 20% somehow. Or more precise way of phrasing it would be 20% of energy gives us 80% of the results. Or with a book, 20% of the information can bring us 80% of the value. Sometimes even 5% of the information gives us 95% value. Say Richard Branson reading a business book. Probably there's going to be something new, hopefully, and if it's a good book that you're going to ponder upon and think, interesting. But a lot of it is also just going to be something that you already know, something that's already quite, old stuff for you, something that's either not very interesting or not very applicable, not very useful, or just something you don't resonate with or something you already know. So that's going to be most of the books of nonfiction books, especially when you start speed reading. You're going to notice that, wow, I know most of the stuff more or less, or it's not really relevant, most of the stuff. Once you allow this freedom to yourself to focus on what's really relevant without the FOMO, the fear of missing out, FOMO they call it, I love the name. We think there's so many choices, so many information, so what do we do? What do we focus on? Just forget that and focus on the key stuff. Focus on what's really the most important for you at the moment. Be the CEO of your life, as they say. And relaxed alertness. So this is the state in which we want to be in when learning, which is the mind is alert, the body is relaxed. And we're going to see how we can get into this state. But before that, maybe you're in it now. If you're excited, if you're feeling good about it, if your body's relaxed, your mind is alert, that would be great. So it's also nice to mention that it's not alert tenseness, which is what we have a lot in school when we're taking the test. We're maybe alert, maybe even just trying to be alert and trying, but this isn't really a state of trying at all. So it's relaxed alertness, not tense alertness, as well as it's not bored or relaxation, or it's not so relaxed that you're not even alert. It's not reading a book on a hammock, just laying down, or just on the beach reading it like this. No, so this isn't really the way we want to do it. We want to be basically have a table when we're reading. That's helpful, and read. Have our elbows on the table. We can do that and hold the book with one hand, flip the pages with the other, and make sure we don't have too much stimulus, outside stimulus that disrupts us. Have good lights, so that can be very helpful as well. And even with music, if you enjoy to do that, I like to read with music. Just don't make it too loud. Don't just have music that kind of is not distracting and at a volume that isn't distracting. You can even play binaural beats if you want. If you want, wondering what that is, just Google binaural beats on YouTube. It can help to enter the state of relaxed alertness. You can even look up binaural beats relaxed alertness, but we're going to look into that more in the further sessions. For now, just before you read, closing your eyes and saying nothing and thinking nothing. And if thoughts come, just let them come, but you simply are aware of the thoughts of the body. And then just doing this for a minute. You don't have to meditate for hours, to become the speed reader, the best speed reader, right? It's not really how it goes so much, but simply make sure thoughts come and go. Also, it's just very healthy to do for your inner health and just to feel good throughout your life. But something before you read, just really quickly get into this sort of state of relaxation, of alpha waves, alpha brain waves, where you're really the most effective, that flow state in a way. Not a tense alertness, but relaxed alertness. And then even another thing that we're going to look into later in the later session, but something that you can just say is this book will change my life. So you have the book, say some Bodo Schäfer financial book or something like this, how to be financially free. And you say, this book will change my life. It's not some esoteric woo-woo thing where you're like, this book will change my life, and then you attract it just like this, It's more like there's so many things around us that compete for our attention that you're just like, oh, this book, read this book, oh, I don't really want to. Things can come up like this. But if you tell yourself this book will change my life, then your RAS, your reticular activating system, the part of your brain that is responsible for focus, what it does is it fixates on it. So you tell yourself this book will change my life, and for say 30 seconds you visualize how you're financially free, doing what you love, etc. Perfect. So hope you're relaxed and alert. And just to recap what we've gone through here, this is going to be the first session. So um, we've gone through the vision. Now you know where you're going. Maybe you've known before, but it's always nice to just clarify, to look into it again. The 80-20 rule, focus on what's really the key for you, on the key information, on what's the most important for you, on what really resonates with you deeply. I would start this journey of reading with pop psychology books, communication books. I would just read everything on body language. At this point, I'm not very much interested in reading books on body language. And it's just a natural progression of how we go about learning things. We learn one thing, then we move on to another. We learn this thing, we move on to another. So read what really resonates with you the most. There's no good or bad here. What you're interested in the most, what you're attracted to the most, focus on that. As much free time as you have. If you have to study some boring thing, finish it. Well, sorry, but whenever you can, just read whatever really draws you, and then you're not gonna have to try to be motivated to read. You're gonna be drawn to it because you're reading the best stuff out there. So focus on what you love, follow the bliss. Now, learning and behavior change, we've seen that they're really one. If you're not changing your behavior, if your behavior isn't changing by itself, you're not really learning anything. So even the session maybe is just a waste of your time completely if you're not putting this into practice with what I'm gonna encourage you to do a little bit later. Or maybe it's just not resonating with you to get deeper into this. Then that's totally cool as well. Don't. But if you want to um, learn this, then you have to change your behavior. Pronouncing versus reading is we've learned that it's not only to say the words aloud in our head, but you have to see the movie when we read, which also comes with time, comes with doing those drills, and comes with practicing reading faster and slower, depending on the information, depending on the importance. So if the information is super known to you already, if it's not useful, if it's not applicable, not interesting, then you can just go through it fast or even skip it completely. Totally fine. You have the permission to do that. Now, some information is new. Maybe it's more dense with ideas. Maybe it's more interesting, more applicable, more valuable for you. At this point, you can go even a bit slower, and that's fine. So learn to speed up and slow down. It's called breaking the one gear reading and reading at different speeds. We're going to learn more about that, also how to do this exactly. And the state in which you want to be in when learning is relaxed alertness. So relax and be alert. Also, it helps if you don't eat terrible foods. If you look after, do some exercise. If you're super sleepy and feeling terrible, you're also not going to be good at anything else as well. So learn about nutrition if you haven't yet. And even if you just eat so much or eat a bad combination of food, then you go and read, it's kind of like heavy. So eat nice light foods before you read, or make sure you're not too heavy in your stomach. Otherwise, you just get kind of bored. Great. So that's what I wanted to share with you in this session. And the challenge from this is there's several of them. First is practice relaxed alertness in your life and whenever you read. It's just a nice state to be in. You do much more. You create much more. Really, it's beautiful. You're going to be reading faster even just from doing this. Use your finger also, just as a basic of speed reading. Use your finger, practice being relaxed and alert. And read what's important for you. So don't allow yourself to don't allow anyone else to dictate what's important for you, what's important to read, what's important to do. Just you may allow them to say that, but don't follow through on it. Follow your own inner guide. Follow what really feels like it resonates with you. You know this, right? So read what's important for you and do what's important for you in life. Now, practice reading faster than normal. So maybe we are used to reading at a certain 200 words per minute, say it's an usual speed. Not so important even to know your speed. I don't focus that much on it. Just work with it, and it improves naturally. But we want to practice reading faster than normal, and at some parts of the books we can even do that. So some books are, as I mentioned, if we know the material or if we know the part of the book, if it's not that important, we can just go skim through it. And already that is increasing our speed. It's kind of taking our brain's comfort zone with reading and stretching it out. So when we slow down to our normal speed, it's already increased a little bit after we do that. So practice reading faster than normal. Use your finger. Get into the right state. Read what's the most important for you. And that's what I wanted to share in the first session. I hope you enjoyed it. For more information, check out my website here. If you ever feel like rewatching this video, you can do that too, but we're going to learn much more and go much more in depth with it in the further classes. So appreciate you being here, and enjoy your time.